Salute, TNA. I'm about to get back into it. I got to fix me some coffee, though. I might have should have made my coffee before I came on, but I need to put me a cup of coffee together, get my voice going. Got to finish some of this, try to get a little bit forward. Might as well start on it early because the day the 4th of July, so you definitely want to enjoy yourself on the 4th, so let's get the boring stuff out the way. I'm about to go ahead and fix me a cup of coffee real quick before I get started. Yeah, man. Once I got off yesterday, man, I went on here and laid it down. Yeah, went on here and laid it down, got some rest. So get started fresh early. Got a fresh brain, you know what I mean? So maybe I can get as much done. I'm hoping that they don't because you're only supposed to be able to do 7.5 hours in one day. So I'm hoping they're not gonna try to only let me do a certain amount of hours because they might consider it in the same 24-hour period, you know what I mean? So hopefully I can get closer to the 10-hour mark, try to get that shit out the way. At least get a couple of hours out the way. But we'll see. Let me go fix me a cup of Quick Joe real quick. Here, I'm going to play a little music till we get started.
Now all this fucking king talking, my nigga, I beg to differ. You waking up a killer, I'm talking about a gorilla. I'm so sick of pussy niggas and how they get in they feeling. All that talking, I'ma end it. I've been the truth since the beginning. Who say they bigger than me? I wanna know. I've been the truth since the beginning. See these niggas, they just talk a lot. You can meet me in the parking lot. I've been the truth since the beginning. It's time to put these niggas' mind in the right place and make these niggas show respect in the right way. I'm a big dog, you niggas just a lightweight. And I chin check a nigga for what he might say. So many dark nights, a lot of bright days. Serving junkies at the guard, so many night plays. Too many niggas walking around with these pipe dreams. I know what it might say. Got the crown on the right, king. You looking at the boss, nigga. Ain't no might be. I know they tired of me. These niggas, they won't fight me. But more than likely, they sweeter than some ice cream. Catch me on the right scene, I promise I'll be Billy D. So tell me, who the one that made your team? Who the one that made your roster? I ain't asked the king. That saddens me. Now you just made some tragedy. Now it's a waste of time for you pussy niggas to battle. Now all this fucking king talking, my nigga, I beg to differ. You waking up a killer, I'm talking about a gorilla. I'm so sick of pussy niggas and how they get in they feeling. All that talking, I'ma end it. I've been the truth since the beginning. Who say they bigger than me? I wanna know. I've been the truth since the beginning. See these niggas, they just talk a lot. You can meet me in the parking lot. I've been the truth since the beginning.
Hey, hi hater, goodbye hater. Assalamu alaikum, I holla later, no holla later. My mind on paper, split your tomato, hasta luego. Bout to hit the fucking block with a circle the size of an Eggo. Bout to spread the block, I'm all on the bread like some mayo. You a tough guy, so you say so. Bullets be size of tomato. The way these niggas be capping, I hope your head fit this halo. Then I go dig up in your hole, then I say bye ho, I got ghosts. I've been the truth in this, that's why she let her cool shit. I'm slightly retarded, so you know I gave her that stupid dick. This is not a word, but y'all gotta know I'm the truthest. Leave your head where the roof is and leave your mouth with no tooth is. Stay in her mouth like a toothpick. I'm easy, cool and ruthless. She called me Bill Cosby because a nigga stay in her pudding. Nigga, my pimpin' game old like a nigga named Rufus. It's about to get ugly like Whoopi. Y'all niggas is goofy.
Now all this fucking king talking, my nigga, I beg to differ. You waking up a killer, I'm talking about a gorilla. I'm so sick of pussy niggas and how they get in they feeling. All that talking, I'ma end it. I've been the truth since the beginning. Who say they bigger than me? I I wanna know. I've been the truth since the beginning.
Yo, Cruise Game,
See,
what
these
up?
niggas, they just talk a lot. You can meet me in the parking lot.
Boss, what up?
I've been the truth since the
This that
beginning.
big boy talk, straight from the stove top. No one is damn sick, better get your damn Clorox. So weatherman predicting snow, that's when my birds flock. I'm tryna lock down the coast, you tryna lock down the block. That's a big difference. 3.5 ball pitching, 7 grams quarter water whipping. 28, now you old flipping. Gotta move low key, cause niggas snitching. Money talking, my palm itching. What you smoking? What you sniffing? Got medicine for your sick. It's my stomach growling. I gotta get it. I'm bagging up the damn epidemic. Got a vaccine for when you're itching. Side effects, you might start twitching. I must admit this shit wicked. Sold my soul for every digit. I'm the best in the booth or in the kitchen. My crown heavy, my head dipping. I'm timeless, nigga. I age different. No cut, my weight different. King shit on the throne sitting. Red dots.
I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming, y'all. I'm just brewing me a nice little cup of coffee. That early morning with it. So let me get ready to get started on this. I'll go ahead and start playing it. So this part, I think we're covering what they call covers. Pretty much any holes that's in the ground, or you know, if you're on the second floor, third floor, sometimes people have to cut a hole, but they might cut a hole to put some duct or run some electrical wires through or something like that, but you know, they're still waiting on the material. So whenever you make a hole, of course you need to cover that hole so nobody else don't fall through that hole. Fall prevention, cover holes. So that's the part that we're about to cover now. So
Lesson 7 of 17. Covers. Openings and holes can be covered with sturdy material. This keeps workers from tripping on them or falling through them.
Alright, what kind of controls is a cover hole opening? That's gonna be engineering control, keeps people away from hazards.
Covers need to be sturdy enough not to break when workers step on them. OSHA requires employers to determine how many workers could stand on it at once. Add up the weight of those workers, their tools, and anything they might be carrying. Make sure the cover can support double that weight. Let's look at an example.
Summer is creating a cover for a small floor hole. She determined that only one worker can stand on it at a time. Her heaviest worker weighs 250 pounds. Carries 20 pounds of tools and sometimes also carries a 30-pound ladder. That means at most there could be 300 pounds at the top of the cover. How much weight should the floor hole cover be able to support? Shit. That shit need to be able to support as much as possible. At least 300, but shit, probably 450. I would say 600 though. Yeah, need to be able to support double what it is.
A contractor was working on an expansion for an airport terminal. A supervisor asked his apprentice to bring a sheet of plywood up onto the roof. The apprentice went to pick up a sheet that was lying on the roof deck. He didn't realize the plywood was covering an opening in the roof. As he lifted it, he lost his balance and fell 40 feet. He later died of his injuries.
God damn. They be giving some fucked up scenarios, boy. What could have prevented this accident? Nailing down or fastening the plywood cover. Clear instructions from the supervisor marking the hole with words like hole cover. Could have been clear instruction. Color coding the cover to indicate danger. Yeah, that can work. Well, they say he died from going to get it. He didn't realize plywood was covering an opening in the roof. As he lifted it, He lost his balance. Oh, okay. So if somebody could have nailed that down, that would have helped out because he would have realized that it was a hole there. Clear instructions, his supervisor could have told him, hey, be careful when you move that hole because, it's probably I guess he wouldn't have known that you was going to go get a piece of plywood that's covering a hole. But it should have been marked with a hole. I mean, should have been marked that it was a hole also. Cutting, color coding to indicate there's danger. That could have helped. I think all of these could be right answers. So 2 of them are not. Clear instruction from your supervisor. I mean, I guess.
All covers must be secured so they can't be accidentally moved. This also keeps weather and equipment from moving them. Covers must also be color-coded or marked with warnings like hole or cover. That way, workers will be aware of the danger.
Right. But, sometimes if I know I'm talking to an apprentice, man, I try to be like super detailed because all this shit is new to a person.
Lesson 8 of 17. Edges and openings. Now that you've learned about fall prevention and protection, let's see how they apply to a variety of working situations.
Salute, steady grinding.
And openings.
All right, edges and openings.
True story, skylight fall. A 43-year-old worker was clearing snow from a flat roof.
Oh, shit. I know this shit ain't gonna end well. Hold on, y'all. Let me go grab my cup of coffee real quick. I already got it ready. So it ain't gonna take nothing but like 30 seconds. All right. Put on my glasses so I ain't straining. Alright. So I'm about to, I can imagine that they about to tell me that this dude slipped off the roof and died. Everybody die on this motherfucker. I ain't lying.
The deep snow covered skylights on that area of the roof. The worker stepped onto one and it broke under him.
Oh shit. Damn. Yeah, that can be a common mistake. Common mistake. You clean off a damn roof and you step on the skylight. Of course you wouldn't be able to see that.
He fell 14 feet to the concrete floor below.
Wow.
The impact killed him.
14 feet. Y'all, I remember when I first came onto a job site, I think I was doing the Top Golf. And I always remember this, and this, now I really watch my footing when I'm on a job site. But I was on the rooftop of a Top Golf, and they had just cut the hole in there, like where we're gonna put the unit at. Cutting the curb is what they call it. And just not being aware of my surrounding, being new to being up there like that. And we was up there and we was waiting on somebody to bring some material back. And we were just sitting around conversating and, getting relaxed and stuff like that. And we were talking, I think, about politics or something. And y'all, I kept stepping back, not realizing that we had just cut a huge hole. The hole wasn't covered up. Because we literally just cut the hole, you know what I mean? And luckily, my coworker stopped me and grabbed me and stopped me before I took probably 3 more steps, and I would have probably fell through that hole. Maybe lost my balance the minute that I would have, tripped into that hole. So that fall would have been way more than 14 feet because we're on top of the roof. Like, the way I would have hit that concrete probably would have been unrecognizable. But you got to be careful of your surroundings, especially when you just start like working on construction sites. If you're working high up, like, put your phone up, really be aware of your surroundings, because the holes that people leave around jobs, not everybody understand how important it is to nail down a hole, or because a lot of people are just learning and they're apprentices and stuff like that, so anybody can make a mistake.
The skylight was an opening, meaning a gap workers could fall through. Openings can be in walls or floors. Similarly, an unprotected edge is anywhere a worker could fall off a floor, roof, or platform. A hole is a gap too small to fall through, but big enough to trip on or drop objects through.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of those questions, because one of those kind of, I ain't gonna say trick question, but just kind of knowing the difference between the unprotected edge and a hole. So when you can fall off of, like a roof or a platform, or just a hole, some shit you could drop stuff through.
Preventing falls. Employers must protect workers from the dangers of falling off edges, falling through openings, or tripping on holes. Unprotected edges.
Which common safety measure will help protect workers from falling off an edge? Usually guardrails. Workers from falls off edges, safety nets, PFAS. Okay, we got all those right.
3 of these measures would help protect workers from falls off edges. Guardrails would stop falls over an edge. Safety nets could be installed underneath edges to catch falling workers. PFAS could catch falling workers if they're connected to anchorage points. You can't cover an edge because it's too large. Let's say you're working on the roof of a 12-story building. It has a parapet around the edge of the roof that's 32 inches high.
Does your employer need to install extra fall safety for these measures? It kind of depends. When you're on a job site like this, they recommend, well, it's unwritten rule, but it's usually a written rule, that you don't go any 6 inches towards the edge. But if you're gonna be working around here, you need to be anchored off somewhere. They usually need to put some kind of anchor down where you can put a harness on the anchor off. If you're gonna be working on the edge, say like doing some kind of patchwork or something like that, you definitely have to be anchored off, and sometimes they'll put a safety net. It just depends on how much work they'll be doing. So I think this answer gonna be it depends, but we'll see. No? Yes? Okay. In real life, I know it will depend. But of course on here they're gonna say yeah. So 42 inches, I believe. Yep. All right, so what's the next? Would those guardrails need a mid rail or a toe board? No, they wouldn't. All right, you look over the edge and there's a safety net left over from the Cascade work. It's 4 stories below the roof. Is that close enough to safely stop a fall? 4 stories? No. Because I think they said it's supposed to be like, what, 13 feet? Something like that. So if you way up here and the net way down here, I don't know if it's gonna stop your fall, because the weight of your fall probably will make the net go through. What's good? Hey, yo. What's good, homie? Just trying to get this shit out the way, man. Maybe I can get it out the way and enjoy my 4th of July, which I don't give a fuck about no 4th of July. I ain't gonna be doing shit anyway. I am gonna go chill with some of my people and, you know, eat some food, but that's about it. Somebody offered to cook, so I offered to eat. But I will be in the hood, so you know, I gotta get my ass back home before nighttime, before all the niggas start shooting and shit. If your employer installs safety nets, what's the furthest they could be below the roof? Now that's a tricky one. The furthest it could be below the roof, I thought they said like 13. Here, we're gonna take an educated guess, say 20 feet. 30 feet, close. Being closest to the roof as possible, 30 feet. I bet this one gonna be 13. If the safety net is more than 10 feet below the roof, how far does it need to extend out? I believe that's 13 inches. I think that's what I was saying. I mean 13 feet. Yeah.
Floor and wall openings.
Which common safety measure will help prevent workers from falls into openings? And that's going to be covers. You always want to cover those holes. Oh shit. Damn, I could have picked all of these. Guardrails, safety nets, covers. Falls into openings. Hell, I never. Well, I guess guardrails, safety nets. Yeah, okay.
These could all be good ways to make openings safer.
Of these safety measures, which is best way to protect workers from falling into openings? They just asked me this question, ain't it? I'm gonna put covers. They only let me pick one this time, but last time they let me pick all of these. So I only picked one last time, and they told me it was all of them. So it's the wording of the question is the tricky part.
Completely covering an opening is usually the best way to prevent trips and falls. In fact, OSHA requires all floor holes larger than 2 inches across to be covered. But other measures can help, too. Your employer might even combine multiple fall protections. Guardrails around an opening can stop workers from falling into it or tripping on it. They're especially important for high traffic areas and large openings. Safety nets can catch falling objects and workers. PFAS could also catch workers if they fall into the opening.
You say they making a killing in Georgia off them fireworks, man. And then they scamming because, see, fireworks are illegal in Georgia. They're illegal to sell, so in Georgia, they always sell y'all those bullshit-ass fireworks. Y'all ain't getting no real deal. Y'all either got to go to Florida or South Carolina, which you right there at the South Carolina line, though, so it ain't no problem for you. Yeah, ain't no problem for you because you right there at the border. But we used to always got to go to Jacksonville or come over there to South Carolina.
Let's say you're on a team renovating an industrial complex. You're working on the ground level. There are openings in the floor where conveyor belts end. It's a 5-foot drop to the bottom of these openings.
Does your employee need to install extra fall safety measures? You're working on the ground level. There are openings in the floor where conveyor belts, and it's a 5-foot drop to the bottom of these openings. Of course they would. Although most requirements for fall safety start at 6 feet in construction, since there is a fall from ground protection, the worker from the fall at 5 feet would include measures like guardrails at an access point. Right, you still want to have something that's going to stop you from just falling over the edge. Because sometimes there be some old men out there, man. The motherfuckers, you don't want to fall over no edge. You at least want a rail right there. Something to at least let you know.
The next day you're working on the 3rd floor. There's a big floor opening. Through the opening, you can see the 2nd floor and the ground floor. The ceiling is 12 feet above you. The 2nd floor is 12 feet below the opening. The ground floor is 24 feet below the opening.
If you anchored a PFAS in the ceiling, would it have enough clearance to stop a fall through the opening? It could stop you from hitting both the ground floor and the 2nd floor. It could stop you from hitting the ground floor but not the 2nd floor. It couldn't stop you from hitting either floor. I don't think that bitch could stop you from hitting either floor. Not no damn 12 feet. The ground floor is 24 feet below the opening. So 24 feet below the opening. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that shit gonna stop you from hitting any of that shit. Oh, it'll stop you. What it say? It'll stop you from hitting both the ground floor and the 2nd floor. Okay, well maybe I looked at the question wrong. The ceiling is 12 feet above you, so that's where I probably would be trying to scrap off to. The 2nd floor is 12 feet below the opening. I don't know how to, well, I guess because it would have to go down 24 feet just to get to that 2nd floor. And definitely the ground floor is 24 feet below the opening, so that would make it 48 feet. So it'll definitely stop before there. So I guess I read that question wrong. Oh, I forgot you was in the A. I was thinking you was in SAV. What'd you say? Up here in Atlanta, you got fireworks store like they do smoke shops. But yeah, but they don't sell the real deal though. They be selling like sparklers and shit. They got the real deal shit in Atlanta. Cause I thought the whole state of Georgia is illegal. Now they'll sell you all that other shit. Now what they say? Your supervisor decides to cover the opening. She uses a large steel road plate that can support up to 4,000 pounds. Is that enough? I like how they made it a she. Yeah, I ain't had too many she supervisors, not in the construction field. Yeah, that shit definitely be it depends. What the fuck? Man, they be playing. It all depends on how much weight you put on it. It might need support. Boy, they full of it. How much weight does the cover need to support? If you add up the weight of all the workers, you might stand on it at once. Plus the tools, object that may be carrying. The cover needs to support the exact weight. That weight plus 50%. Double that weight, triple that weight. I'm gonna put double. OSHA requires that covers be able to support double the weight that it might need to carry.
Floor holes.
Which common safety measure will help protect workers from falling into holes? That would be a cover. Yeah, but we're gonna click all of them because last time it was all of them. Ain't that some shit? So now I only want to be covers and guardrails. Which common safety measure will help protect workers from falling into holes? Guardrails, covers. Oh, protect them from prevent them from falling into holes. Not once you done fell through it, then a safety net and a PFAS would be necessary. But if you just want to prevent it from the beginning, it would be a cover and a guardrail. You gotta be careful with the way these questions are worded.
2 of these measures could prevent trips on floor holes. Completely covering.
Oh yeah, Lonnie, man, we got
the best way to prevent trips.
Lonnie, as you can see.
Remember,
hold
it
on.
should be brightly colored or marked hole. Guardrails around a hole could prevent workers from tripping over it. They can also keep equipment like forklifts away from the holes. Safety nets and PFAS wouldn't be useful because holes are too small for workers to fall though.
Yeah, definitely, Lonnie, man. It's like I say, it's 10 hours. 10 hours. I think we put in about 5 hours yesterday, but of course I was commentating this stuff and kind of teaching as we go, so I ain't go through it as fast as I probably would if I wasn't just talking and breaking stuff down. But I don't mind talking and breaking stuff down. That's why I came on live with it. For there's if 1 or 2 people learn something that can help them, you know what I'm saying, with this, that's good for me. I mean, this helps out in every field because every field has OSHA, and you need to know your rights as as an employee. 2 of these measures could prevent trips from holes, completely covering the hole. Usually the best way to prevent trips for a hole and guardrails.
However, you should use wrap
damn.
up.
I didn't mean to go past that question. How did that? I'll play that again.
Wrap up.
True or false? Is it possible to plan a construction job such there are never any unprotected edges or openings? It's possible to plan a construction job such that there are never any unprotected edges or openings. Yeah, you got to. What? Well, damn, not quite. That surprised me. I guess it's possible.
All sites will have unprotected edges or openings at some point during construction. The important thing is to put fall protection in place quickly and minimize the chances people will trip, slip, or fall.
Oh, okay.
Lesson 9 of 17.
Nah, this ain't the test yet.
Scaffold means any temporary elevated platform, supported or suspended, and its supporting structure, including points of anchorage, used for supporting employees, materials, or both. However, not all temporary platforms are scaffolding. Many elevated platforms are called temporary works. All scaffold.
Lonnie, it has like it has an exam at the end of each one. So there's 33 parts, and each one of them have an exam at the end of it. And I think it has like an overall exam. But yeah, it's a test all in one. It's a learning process and an exam all together. But they break them all down, about 33 parts in a 10-hour period. And then we got to go through OSHA 30, but that's going to be on another date. OSHA 30. Of course, that's going to be 30 hours.
Lesson 9 of 17. Scaffolds. Scaffold means any temporary elevated platform, supported or suspended, and its supporting structure, including points of anchorage, used for supporting employees, materials, or both. However, not all temporary platforms are scaffolding. Many elevated platforms are called temporary works. All scaffolding is considered temporary works, but not all temporary platforms are scaffolding. It can be supported from below or suspended from above. If there aren't good anchorage points for a PFAS on the site, the scaffold or its support must include them.
Yep.
True story, scaffold collapse. 4 workers were working on masonry scaffolding, 75 feet in the air. They were directing the telehandler to load mortar and blocks onto the scaffold.
See, now I don't have to work on scaffolds that much. Every now and then I'll be working on a job site and it'll be something that I need to get to, and they'll already have the scaffold set up, probably because the brick masons was working on the outside, you know, doing their brick thing or whatever. So I might use their scaffold to, you know, maybe do something real quick. But of course you want to know the rules to it, just in case you ever just use their scaffold real quick to know what to look for, because somebody might not have set that shit up right. But I've had to put scaffolds together because I've been in buildings where we couldn't bring in a scissor lift because the scissor lift was too, those are the things that y'all see me driving around with. They look like big ass go-karts. When I was in Kentucky, y'all seen me on that when I was way in the air. That's a scissor lift. But sometimes you might be in like a tight confined space, so you might have to build a scaffold 10 feet in the air, and you got to know how to put that joker together perfectly, which they're not hard. They're like putting together some pixie sticks, you know, for the people who've never been in construction or nothing like that, which I know there's a lot of because we got women in here. But it's like, think about like as a kid when you used to put together those pixie sticks. That's kind of how they go through together, and they have these little pins that you can lock them into place. So it's like building yourself up. But if you don't know what a scaffold is, these red and yellow things right here, you can kind of build these like pixie sticks, and then you put the wood across it, and this is what you work on the outside of a building with. Say if you're a brick mason and they're, you know, putting their concrete and all that stuff. See, like this guy right here, this whole thing is temporarily built up so you can work on the outside and work at high heights. So that's pretty much what we're about to get into now, the safety of that.
As the telehandler
Salute,
set a
Halima.
pallet of blocks onto the scaffold, it collapsed.
Grand Rising, Halima.
As the telehandler set a pallet of blocks onto the scaffold, it collapsed under the weight.
Yeah, that's definitely what you got to be, careful of, because you can feel like those scaffolds are pretty sturdy until you get a certain amount of weight on them.
The workers fell through the lower scaffolds, then landed on the pile of debris from the materials and scaffolding parts.
Ooh, that had to hurt.
All four suffered very serious injuries, but survived.
Damn, it's about time somebody live. Shit. Every time they tell a story, a motherfucker die. I'm like, damn. They always telling a story about somebody dying. About time somebody live.
There's no missing.
All four suffered very serious injuries, but survived.
All right, I'm going to turn up the speed on the talking, so hopefully it ain't too fast.
All four suffered very serious injuries, but survived.
Okay, I think that'd be good.
It's very dangerous to overload a scaffold. Scaffolds have different ratings and load limits. If you put too much weight on them, they could collapse. Ask your supervisor about weight limits, and make sure you get training to use the scaffolds on your job site.
All right, why else do you think it might be dangerous to put many tools and materials on scaffold? Choose all that apply. It's more likely you can knock something off and hit someone below. Yeah, definitely that. I've done that. I've never hit nobody below, but I have dropped shit off of scaffolds, and it could have hit somebody below. I'm very clumsy. More trips up and down to load the scaffold means more chances to fall. True. Well, this is not true or false. What else do you think it might be dangerous to put? More trips up and down. More chance to fall. Yeah, I don't know. That might be a shaky answer. I don't think I want to answer that one yet. It would be easier to trip on something. Yeah. It means workers have less room and might knock each other off balance. They are true. So I think all of those are true, and I'm going to leave one unchecked just for the hell of it. See? Yep, I was right. Even though it looked like it could be true, more trips up and down the load scaffolds mean more chances to fall. Technically, yes. The more times you go up and down, shit. But they be trying to trick you with the word.
Scaffolds are already narrow, leaving limited space for workers and all their materials and equipment. If you crowd that space with too many things, it makes trips and bumps more likely. It's also more likely objects could fall off the scaffold, hitting someone below. Now let's talk about how to apply fall safety measures with scaffolds. Fall safety on scaffolds. Employers must protect workers from falls when they're working on scaffolds.
Okay, which commonly safety measure will help protect workers from falls off a scaffold? Definitely going to be PFAF, which is having on your harness. Because, you know, I don't know, because if you fall and you have on your harness, you're probably going to bring that motherfucker down. But I think that's going to be the answer. Guardrails, safety nets. That'll work. But I think if you have on the harness, you're probably going to bring that motherfucker down. Because it's meant to build straight up, to have the strength on it going straight up, not to be going like backwards. So if I fall backwards, the weight of it is probably going to pull the scaffold, and that could be dangerous too. But
3 of these measures would help protect workers from falls off scaffolds. Guardrails can stop falls over the edge of a scaffold. Most scaffolds should have guardrails. Safety nets underneath a scaffold can catch falling workers. A safety net cannot be connected directly to supported or suspended scaffolding. PFAS could catch falling workers if they're connected to anchorage points. You can't cover the area around the scaffold. Now we'll look at how and when these measures are required for scaffolds, as well as other requirements for scaffold safety. What's wrong with this picture?
ah, shit, what the hell? What's wrong with this picture? These niggas want to die. That's what's wrong. What the fuck? Hold on. What these niggas got going on? These niggas want to die. That's what's going on. So, they built a piece of wood right here. I ain't gonna lie, this some crazy shit that I probably would try. I do crazy shit like this. I don't think I ever did no crazy shit exactly like this, but I've done some crazy shit. Okay, what is it asking me? What's wrong with this picture? How can I answer that? What's unsafe about this scaffold? That's not a fucking scaffold, first of all. Could it looks unsteady? There are too many workers on it. That too. Built high enough or isn't built high enough? Neither one of them aren't. It doesn't matter because it's unsteady. What? The scaffold isn't built high enough. What the fuck? That is not a fucking scaffold. You damn happy how you built that shit. That bootleg shit. But anyway, if they say so.
The scaffold isn't high enough. Notice how the workers are balancing on a secondary wooden frame on top of the scaffold platform. That makes it more likely they could lose their balance and fall. You should always stand on the scaffold platform. Never stand on anything on top of the platform.
Oh, okay. I see what they mean. The scaffold is actually right here, and they put some shit on top. I was saying that it's unstable because why would you put something on top of the damn scaffold? So I guess that is right. It ain't built high enough. That's crazy. It's the word. You should always stand on the scaffold platform. Never stand on anything on top of the platform. Definitely. If that joke ain't built high enough, you asked out. But I've seen people put shit on there, and yeah, of course, motherfuckers violate the rules all the time. What's unsafe about this scaffold? Choose all that apply. Well, for one, this one don't have any guardrails. That man hanging for dear life. This worker isn't wearing any PFAs. Yep, directly. He don't have no harness on. So, the The platform has many gaps and openings. Shit, that motherfucker look like it ain't got nothing down. It ain't got no fucking. It ain't got no posts. Is it built too high? I don't know what the fuck he got it built for, period, because I don't see what the fuck he working on, so I don't know if it's built too high or not. There's no safe way to get up to the platform. Yeah, it don't look like I see any safe ways to get up there. I don't know how the fuck he got up there. So okay, we got 4 all those right.
There are many problems with this scaffold. There are no guardrails, safety nets, or PFAS to protect the worker from falls. The platform of the scaffold has many openings the worker could fall through. It would be easy for him to lose his balance. There doesn't seem to be a ladder or stairway to get up to the scaffold. It's dangerous to climb scaffolding frames. Requirements for scaffolds. Because scaffolds create some unique fall hazards, there are several requirements and best practices for fall safety. Above 10 feet, a scaffold must have guardrails on all sides, or all workers must use PFAS. Workers must have a safe way to access the scaffold, like a stairway or ladder. They should never climb on the scaffold frame unless they are specifically designed and constructed to be used as ladder rungs. Scaffolds must be fully planked, meaning there are no gaps in the platform. A competent person must inspect the scaffold daily to make sure it's safe for work.
Bro, I literally had completed the mission, and then I got right out there to the boat, and I bullshitted around trying to just shoot somebody for the fuck of it. I completed the mission overall, but I played around and fucked around and did it. Died on it. So I literally got to the boat, and I wanted to play around and shoot one of the guards. And I missed them, and then they gunned my ass down. But overall, I did beat the man ass and do it. I got to go back and finish it, though. All right, you're doing some Fascade work on an 8-foot pole scaffolding. The feet of the scaffold are bolted into the concrete sidewalk. What fall protection measures are required for this scaffold? I'm guessing some safety net shit, everything. Ain't nothing gonna change. Well, damn, none of these? You're doing some Fascade work on 8-foot pole. Oh, 8 foot, I'm tripping. Damn. See,
Erecting and dismantling scaffolds.
That ain't even know.
Erecting and dismantling a supported scaffold can be very dangerous. A PFAS is your only option for fall protection because there's nothing to anchor guardrails to. Your employer must provide PFAS for people doing this work. The only time employers don't have to provide protection is if they can prove to OSHA that using a PFAS isn't feasible, or using one would be even more dangerous than no protection. Imagine you're assembling a gypsum wall. Your team is using a rolling scaffold. It has wheel locks to hold it in place during work.
You have a tight deadline to finish the wall. Your buddy working on the top of the scaffold says you should save time by rolling him along the wall. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? It's actually a good idea, but they telling you it's a bad idea, because if his ass sit his ass down and hold on to the scaffold while I push you, yeah, it'll work. But if you try to be dumb and stand up while I'm pushing you, you could possibly fall. So it just depends on if the two people that's doing it, if they got common sense. So, but I know the technical answer gonna be it's a bad idea. Your buddy climbed down off a scaffold and you roll it to a new location. Instead of moving the ladder, he's been using the access to the scaffold. He starts climbing up the scaffold, cross bracing. Good idea, bad idea. I do this all the time. When you're on the job, it feels like the best idea. Because using the ladder and using the scaffold is two different things. I mean, of course, I got to move around the ladder. That take that back work and all that stuff like that. A scaffold can get you up higher. You got a flatter platform. You can work on whatever you're working on more easier than you could work off a ladder. And usually when you get up, I mean, you can climb up the side of it real quick, but it's not the right way to do it. It's a bad idea. Never climb on a scaffold structure or a cross bracing. It isn't designed for that. It could break or it could be difficult to climb, or you could fall. So always climb it the right way. Do not do stuff the wrong way. That's why people get hurt all the time. On the last section of wall, scaffolding doesn't quite reach high enough. Your buddy stacks up plywood sheets and says you should put the scaffold on top of them. No, hell no. We ain't doing no shit like that. Fuck no. Trying to kill me? On a different day, you're working on the scaffold outside. A storm rolls in. It starts raining hard and there's a lot of wind. What do? You get your ass off of that damn scaffold. Leave the scaffold till the storm is over.
Lesson 10 of 17. Aerial Work Platforms, AWPS. An aerial work platform, AWP, is like a scaffold, but supported by mobile or extendable machinery. Click on each image to identify types of AWPS. Some AWPS are also called Mobile Elevated Work Platforms, MEWPS.
Okay, these are called mobile elevated. Truck mounted lift, a scissor lift, boom lift,
A scissor lift is considered a mobile scaffold and has similar safety requirements. Other types of lifts can extend very high, sometimes up to 180 feet. That can make them extremely dangerous. That's why you need to get training specific to the AWP or MEWP you're using on your site. You aren't allowed to operate an AWP or MEWP unless you've had special training. Here are some safety practices for working in AWPS and MEWPS. Do. Wear a PFAS or fall restraint system. Keep your feet firmly on the platform at all times. Keep all access gates or openings closed. Don't. Anchor to a point outside the AWP, MEWP. Climb or lean over the guardrails. AWPS, MEWPS make it possible to work at heights and may be safer than other options like scaffolds. But it's still very dangerous to be dozens of feet in the air. Always stay alert for fall hazards. Lesson 11 of 17. Ladders. True story, unsteady ladder. A 45-year-old sheet metal worker was using a 12-foot stepladder to install ductwork in an office building.
What the fuck? Hey, man. Y'all don't be trying to goddamn tell me no shit. So, I guess, see this 12-foot ladder, I guess, and he's up here messing with this ductwork.
He reached with both hands to install a piece of ductwork. While positioning it, he lost his balance and fell to the floor below.
That can very well happen. That definitely can very well happen. That will hurt.
The fall fractured his right arm and collarbone. It took 2 months for them to heal, and he couldn't work for that time.
Well, if that happened to me, boy, I'm going to be on YouTube like a motherfucker talking shit. I'll be a full-time YouTuber then. That's going to be my backup plan. along with the, you know, the workers' comp or whatever.
You should only use ladders when you're doing a brief task or when the task is very safe. That's because there are many ways ladders can be unsafe. They can be unsteady, especially if set up incorrectly. They can slip or break, especially if you're using the wrong ladder for the task. And you can lose your balance, especially while climbing or descending. That's why, with ladders, it's important to use a scaffold or a WB instead, if possible. Choose the right ladder for the job. Set the ladder up properly. Use ladders safely. Inspect and maintain your ladders. We'll discuss how to do all of these things in the Stairways and Ladders module. Lesson 12 of 17. Fall protection plans. Imagine you're building a warehouse roof. This is leading edge work, meaning there's an unprotected edge that moves as work continues.
Them boys out there in that sun, y'all. Is it feasible to protect a ledging edge with guardrails? Is it feasible to protect a leading edge with guardrails? Okay, leading edge. So leading edge will be over here. Not really, because you're gonna keep having to move it. So I don't think so. Maybe sometimes. Not usually. Okay. Is it feasible to protect a leading edge with safety nets? Nah, I would think so. Not usual either. It's not often feasible to protect a leading edge with safety nets that might not have anything to anchor to, but they be able to disassemble. Right, ain't got shit to anchor to. Is it feasible to protect workers from a leading edge with PFS? Yeah, of course, because you gotta have something. So the best thing to have is at least a fucking harness. So if you do fall, you'll get caught by the harness. Sometimes, shit, I'm gonna have a harness all the time. I ain't fucking with it. But, you know, some people, they'll do more on the edge. That's what you get paid the big bucks for when you really get dangerous. Sometimes it be good anchorage points for... There can be good anchorage points for PFAS, but often there aren't. And a leading edge is often a sharp edge, meaning it could cut a lanyard. So you just got to be that daredevil to go do it. Be the first one to go up there and go put some anchors down.
There are many situations where none of the three conventional fall protections, guardrails, safety nets, and PFAS, are feasible. Leading edge work is one example, and there are a few more situations where this is the case. Click or tap each card to flip and review. So how do employers protect workers from falls in those situations?
So leading edge work, that means you the first motherfucker out there to goddamn go test the water. So let's see what they say. Precast concrete erection. Precast concrete erection. Residential construction. Yeah, so you don't need fall protection when you're residential construction. That's why when I'm in the attic, at a house, I don't have to put on the harness and all that because there ain't nowhere to anchor to. And what's this one? When conventional fall protection isn't feasible or it could be more dangerous than protection. Yeah, because if I put on the harness right here, I mean, what they say, a harness up here, and then I strap it down. If I fall, that harness gonna fuck me up. You might as well just let me fall all the way wherever I'ma fall. That harness gonna make me fucking swing in here and hit shit. I don't know. So yeah. So how do employers protect workers from falls in those situations? Let's see.
Making a plan.
Make
If
a plan to
conventional
die.
fall protections won't work, employers must develop a special fall protection plan. A qualified, specially trained person must develop the plan, and it must be specific to the job site. The plan must prove why common fall protections won't work, specify which locations it applies to, define safety measures to reduce fall hazards. The plan has to be made available to workers and kept up to date. Any changes have to be approved by the qualified person who wrote the plan. A competent person must supervise the carrying out of the plan. If there's a serious fall, the employer has to investigate whether the plan needs to change.
Come up with a plan. Leave it up to man to come up with a plan.
Alternate fall protection. There are several ways employers can prevent falls when conventional protections won't work. Warning lines. A warning line system helps worker recognize they're approaching an edge.
Sorry about that. Hold up, y'all. Oh yeah. Only bad part about this and when you're putting out these cones and flags, because what it's telling you right now, alternate fall protection plans, when you got those situations where you got a really high building and you want to put out these flags and stuff like this, like, you know, just to tell people, hey, don't go no more than 6 inches off of this edge or whatever. Only problem is, there's still got to be somebody that got to go out there and put these bitches out and pick these bitches up. And I've been that nigga before. And I happened to have to do this shit one time when I was in North Dakota. And it was a snowstorm outside and it was cold. It was slippery. I was, 30 stories in the fucking air. I mean, on top of a building, like the highest you can have, the highest building in Fargo, North Dakota. So I ain't gonna lie, I just didn't look over the edge. I just act like I was just on, I put in my head that I was on the ground. Because, you know, I'm new to heights, but I ain't scared of them like I used to be. But trust me, I was more concerned about how cold it was. It was
A warning
freezing
line
that
must
day.
be set up far enough from an edge to warn workers before they're at risk of falling. For roofing work, this distance is 6 feet. For all other trades, this must be at least 10 feet. A warning line can only be used for workers engaged in roofing activities on low-sloped roofs. Controlled access zone. This is an area where only certain workers are allowed to go. It must be clearly marked and must be set up at least 10 feet from the edge. Safety monitoring system. This is a competent person who keeps an eye on the leading edge work. Their job is to spot employees at risk of falling and warn them. It's also common to use a monitoring system with warning lines and controlled access zones. In that case, the competent person also makes sure workers stay out of those areas.
Which is good, easy job, man. If you competent enough, you can get a job just telling niggas don't fall over the edge of the building. You gotta actually hire somebody just to keep people from doing stupid shit. Ain't that amazing?
Low-slope roof work. When you're working on a roof that's flat or almost flat, your employer can choose one or more of the following safety measures. Guardrails. Safety nets. PFAS, warning lines and safety monitoring. And if the roof is less than 50 feet wide, the employer can use just a safety monitoring system. Lesson 13 of 17. Employer responsibilities. Employers have many responsibilities when it comes to fall safety. They must Identify fall hazards. Decide how to best address them. Provide and install any needed guardrails, safety nets, and covers. Provide and pay for workers' PFAS. Provide scaffolds. Make sure scaffolds are built correctly. Provide and maintain safe ladders. Have a qualified or competent person inspect work sites. If needed, develop a fall protection plan. Provide training for workers. Their training must teach workers how to properly use their PFAS. Inspect equipment and covers. Use the scaffolds and ladders on the job site. Check scaffolding for safe access, guardrails, full planking, and stable footing. Choose correct ladders for a task. Use AWPS. Follow the company's fall protection plan if there is one. Lesson 14 of 17. Your role in fall safety. If you're working at heights, attend your company's fall safety training program. Make sure you know your company's fall protection plan, how to use fall safety equipment, how to inspect equipment and covers, how to safely use scaffolds, ladders, and AWPS specific to your site.
All right. What causes more fall injuries? Predictable hazards, unforeseen circumstances. What causes more fall injuries? Predictable hazards or unforeseen circumstances? So predictable hazards gonna probably be like ladder just being, raggedy as a motherfucker. Unforeseen circumstances, you just falling off of that bitch, getting electrocuted. I don't know. What y'all think? That's a flip of a coin question now. It don't count for nothing, so I'ma choose unforeseen circumstances. Good educated guess.
No one plans to get hurt. It's often unplanned complications or unforeseen circumstances that cause injuries.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to break fall. You're right. Shit, I be like a cat, boy. I fall on my feet. I done fell off of ladders before, but I done fell on my feet. But I did sprain my ankle one time when I did that. That was a long time ago. See, usually the most injuries you'll catch is your injuries probably in your first 5-10 years working around this stuff. Probably in your first 5 years, because you're just learning how to use tools. You're just learning how to, climb up and down the ladder. And sometimes you might be in a hurry and you don't think how important it is to set your ladder. Your ladder might be off just a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm going to just run up here and do this real quick. And then that motherfucker, when you get the higher you get, the more shakier that bitch get. And then next thing you know, it's coming down. And hopefully you got a clearance, because it'll be your ladder starting to fall down. You can't just move shit out the way all of a sudden. So you might be headed straight towards something sharp or something hard or a sharp edge or something like that. So luckily for me, when I fell off a ladder, it was in a clear area where it was, in an open house. Nobody seen it. It was just me in there, which is a good and a bad thing, because if I'd have really got hurt, I'd have been fucked. But that's one of those things about working alone. If you really, really get hurt while working alone, shit, you ain't got nobody to call. You just fucked. Alright, so for example, imagine you get on your tongue twisted. For example, imagine you get to your job site. Normally, you anchor your PFAS to a ceiling beam, but today you can't, because the beam being covered to the roof, the beams being covered with fireproofing spray. That's the only anchor point your team has been using. What should you do? Find something else to attach the beam in place of the anchorage point, like the D-ring scrap. Check in with your team and your supervisor. I mean, of course, you're going to check in with your team and your supervisor and see if they came up with something else. Because they might know something that you don't
If you run
know.
into situations that weren't planned for, stop and think. Communicate with your team. Check in with your supervisor. Don't improvise.
Yeah, man, I always know that there's somebody that might have experienced something that you haven't experienced. You can be a wise dude. I mean, I've run into very super smart people, but the smartest thing you can ever do is know when you don't know something. And don't be afraid to ask somebody, you know what I mean? I've been helpful in many rooms where people that I work with, they've been in the game for 30, 40 years. And sometimes I'll come up with a idea that they didn't think of. But they're wise enough to be able to accept, when something is a good idea. You can always run into something new. It happens all the time, so. True or false, employees can predict every possible fail hazard. I don't think so. They'll try to.
No one can predict every possible fall hazard. Work closely with your supervisor to address hazards. Report unsafe conditions immediately. And just because you aren't required to wear fall protection, doesn't mean you shouldn't. Consider wearing or asking for fall protection anytime there's a risk for falling.
Damn, I got on my glasses. I still thought I saw an E. Well, it's all good.
Lesson 15 of 17. Wrap up. Now that you've learned about fall safety, you should be able to spot fall hazards. Avoid fall hazards. Recognize problems with guardrails, safety nets, and other safety measures. Use personal protective equipment, PP, to protect yourself from falls. Completing the module. Congratulations, you've finished the lessons in this module. You need to spend 1 hour and 15 minutes in this module to unlock the topic exam. This is to ensure that you spend 10.25 hours in the course and meet OSHA's requirements to get your completion card. If you need to spend more time in the Lesson 16 of 17. Study Guide. Module Learning Objectives. Module Summary. Learning Objective 1. Spot fall hazards. A fall hazard can be anything that makes you lose your balance, lose your footing, or lose contact with the ground. Fall hazards include slippery surfaces, trip hazards, holes or openings in floors or walls, unprotected edges, unsafe scaffolding, unsteady ladders. Most lethal falls happen at a height of under 15 feet. Employers must identify fall hazards, decide how to best address them, provide and install any needed guardrails, safety nets, and covers, provide and pay for workers' PFAS, provide scaffolds, make sure scaffolds are built correctly, provide and maintain safe ladders, have a qualified or competent person inspect work sites. If needed, develop a fall protection plan. Provide training for workers. Learning Objective 2. Avoid fall hazards. Elimination, engineering, and administrative controls are fall prevention measures. PPE can stop workers from hitting the ground or limit the damage of the impact. When someone could fall 6 feet or more, employers must provide guardrails, safety nets, or personal fall arrest systems, PFAS. Here are some fall controls.
So, so it's just pretty much everything that we just went over because we're getting closer to the exam part of this section. That's why I just told me I completed the hour that it required for me to be in this section. Because some people will try to just go through this thing and click through all this shit real fast, don't listen to nothing. They might know the answers to it, you know, or got a cheat sheet to it. So they make sure that you spend the qualified time that it takes to read through this shit. They kind of time you what it would take the average person to read through this stuff. And I mean, sometimes I'm definitely trying to make sure I do read through it. A lot of this stuff I do know, but there are small parts of it that I don't know. Like I said, a lot of it is confusing because of the wording, but I actually know about it on the job site. I know the safety rules. Now, I ain't gonna say all the time I follow them, but you know. But every now and then there's something that you probably been doing but you didn't realize it. So it's always good to know the textbook.
If conventional fall protections won't work, employers must develop a special fall protection plan. A qualified, specially trained person must develop the plan, and it must be specific to the job site. The plan must prove why common fall protections won't work. Specify which locations it applies to. Define safety measures to reduce fall hazards. A competent person must supervise the carrying out of the plan. Alternate fall protection includes warning lines made of rope, tape, or cable with high visibility material every 6 feet and lines that do not sag lower than 34 inches off the surface and stanchions that can resist a force of 15 pounds without tipping. Controlled access zones where only certain workers are allowed. It must be clearly marked and set up at least 15 feet from the edge. Safety monitoring systems involve a competent person keeping an eye on leading-edge work. Workers must receive training on how to inspect equipment and covers. Use the scaffolds and ladders on the job site. Check scaffolding for safe access, guardrails, full planking, and stable footing. Choose the correct ladders for a task. Use AWPS. Follow the company's fall protection plan if there is one. Learning Objective 3. Recognize problems with guardrails, safety nets, and other safety measures. If you see a guardrail that won't do enough to prevent falls, tell your supervisor immediately. You should also place warning signs and stay in the area to keep anyone from accidentally falling. Safety nets aren't used for fall protection as much because they don't stop you from falling, they only stop you from hitting the ground or a lower level. Falling objects can easily damage them and make them less effective. They have extremely specific requirements for installation and maintenance. Safety nets need to be drop tested after installation, after getting moved, and after repairs. If they stay in place for a long time, they must get drop tested every 6 months. Nets also need to get inspected every time something could have damaged them. If something falls into a safety net, it needs to get removed before the next work shift. Scaffolds have different ratings and load limits. If you put too much weight on them, they could collapse. Because scaffolds create some unique fall hazards, there are several requirements and best practices for fall safety. Above 10 feet, a scaffold must have guardrails on all sides, or all workers must use PFAS. Workers must have a safe way to access the scaffold, like a stairway or ladder. They should never climb on the scaffold frame. Scaffolds must be fully planked. A competent person must inspect the scaffold daily to make sure it's safe for work. When using ladders, it's important to use a scaffold or AWB instead, if possible. Choose the right ladder for the job. Set the ladder up properly. Use ladders safely. Inspect and maintain ladders. Learning Objective 4. Use personal protective equipment, PP, to protect yourself from falls. A personal fall arrest system, PFAS, is a full-body harness that consists of a harness, a D-ring, a self-retracting lanyard, an anchorage point. A PFAS is a last resort means of fall protection because there are many ways it could fail, and many ways workers can make mistakes while using one. For an anchorage point to stop your fall without risk of breaking, it must be able to support 5,000 pounds of weight. When workers use PFAS, employers are required to have a rescue plan to retrieve workers hanging from their PFAS. Here are some tips for using and inspecting PFAS. To learn how to put your PFAS on correctly, you'll need in-person training with a competent person. All pieces of your harness and connectors should be made by the same manufacturer. Each time before you use your PFAS, inspect it. A competent person should inspect your equipment every month. Every 6 months, they need to document their inspection. Check when the manufacturer recommends you retire your PFAS, usually every 5 years. The first time you use a piece of equipment, write the date on the manufacturer's tag. When lanyards with a shock absorber stretch, it allows them to gradually slow you down and spreads out the impact of a fall. Factors that affect how far a PFAS needs to safely stop a fall include the length of the lanyard, how much the lanyard stretches, also called deceleration distance, how much the harness will shift or stretch, the distance between the harness's steering and your feet, a safety factor zone in case something goes wrong. Different trades and different sites can have their own policies and recommendations for tying off. For example, steel erection workers, welders, decking crew, and detailing gangs are required to tie off when they're 15 feet above the ground. Workers who connect steel must have the equipment and anchorage points to tie off at 15 feet, but are only required to tie off when they're 30 feet high. Knowledge checks.
Guardrails and safety nets are examples of fall protection. Engineering controls. Okay, let's see where they will do that. Okay, let's see what the word that. Identify the parts of the PFAS in the image shown below. Okay, you got your anchor point. It's going to be 4. Okay, you got your lanyard. It's going to be 3. Hold on. No, 1 is going to be the actual harness. Actual harness. 2 is going to be how much weight must an anchor point support? The estimated weight of the worker plus 25 pounds. Wrong. The weight of a pickup truck. I think we did hear something about a pickup truck. The weight of 2 workers plus their tools. The weight of an impact car. I think we're going to go with the pickup truck. I heard that pickup truck somewhere. Yep. 5,000 pounds or a pickup truck.
Key terms and definitions. Please review the terms below and match the key terms on the left to their definitions on the right. You can find the full list of terms and definitions in a screen reader accessible format below the matching activities.
Okay, so suspension, trauma, drop test, personal fall arrest system, and then you got conventional fall protection. Okay, let's see what are the what we got over here. Measures the weight, capacity, and strength of an object such as the net. I think that's gonna be a drop test. Measures the weight, capacity, and strength of an object such as the net. No, that's wrong. Provided by a guardrail system, safety net system, or personal fall arrest system. Stops a worker's fall by using the body harness, anchorage, connection, and other components. occurs when the human body is held upright without any movement for a period of time. So if you fall and you got that harness on, that sounds like a suspension trauma. Provided by guardrail system. I might have these two mixed up, but not these two. I might have the first one and the fourth one mixed up if any of them wrong. I think I got all of them right though. Okay, we got all of them right. That's what's up. Okay, say self-retracting lanyard used to provide temporary access otherwise inaccessible areas, usually at a height, D-ring, a point, or an attachment or a fitting by which a person or a thing is attached, secured. A vertical fall lifeline that helps consistent tauntless to prevent worker falls. Okay, let's do an item, hardware, usually a tie down metal ring used to primary as a lashing point. I think that's going to be our anchor point. A point or attachment or fitting by which a person or thing is attached or secured. I don't know, that sounds like an anchorage point there. But used to provide temporary access to otherwise inaccessible areas, usually at a height. That sounds like a aerial platform. So that sounds like that go right there. A point or attachment or fitting by which a person or a thing is attached and secured. That sounds like a D-ring. And a parapet, a low protective wall along the edge of a roof. That sounds like a parapet. And then self-retracting lanyard, a vertical fall lifeline which keep consistent tautness to prevent worker falls. Yep, that's a lanyard. Self-retracting lanyard. I think I got them together, y'all. Let's see how we did. Oh, we got one on. We got those two backwards. I said that if I did have one on mixed up, it'll probably be. Oh, what's that? The last one I said? I don't know. A point or attachment or fitting by which a person or a thing is attached and secured. So, an item of hardware, usually tie down metal ring, used primarily as a lashing point. So I see why I got those kind of mixed up, but that wasn't too bad.
Key term. Definition. Aerial Work Platform, AWB. A mechanical device used to provide temporary access for people or equipment to inaccessible areas, usually at height. Anchorage point. A point or an attachment or fitting by which a person or thing is attached or secured. Conventional fall protection. Fall protection provided using guardrail systems, safety net systems, or personal fall arrest systems, PFAS. D-ring. An item of hardware, usually a tie-down metal ring shaped like the letter D, used primarily as a lashing point. Drop test. A test of the strength of an object, in which it is dropped under standard conditions, or a set weight is dropped on it from a given height. Parapet. A low protective wall along the edge of a roof, bridge, or balcony. Personal fall arrest system, PFAS. A system used to arrest an employee in a fall from a walking working surface. It consists of a body harness, anchorage, and connector. The means of connection may include a lanyard, deceleration device, lifeline, or a suitable combination of these. Self-retracting lanyard. A vertical fall lifeline that allows users to easily move around while keeping consistent tautness, effectively preventing falls. Suspension trauma. An effect that occurs when the human body is held upright without any movement for a period of time, also known as harness hang syndrome (HHS) or orthostatic intolerance. Resources, sources, and links. Downloadable version. Click the file below to download the study guide. You can review it offline or print it. Time you spend reviewing offline does not count toward the 10.25-hour completion requirement. Lesson 17 of 17. References. Resources, sources, and links. End of module. You have come to the end of this module. If you have spent the required time in this module as noted below, click or tap the close button at the top of the screen to return to the course homepage and select the next available module. If you have not met the time requirement, you will need to spend more time reviewing the contents of this module.
Which I think I spent way enough time on the motherfucker. So we should be on to the next. Think we got the exam to take. Topic exam. OSHA focus for hazard fall. This exam is 20 questions. Get at least 14 right to pass. Each attempt exam will take about 10 minutes. This time counts towards your 10.25 hours and you need to complete the course. How topic exam works, you get 3 attempts to pass. Each attempt will feature some new questions. If you fail your third attempt, you'll have to repurchase and retake the course. Take time reviewing the lessons, study guide. You can navigate them through Focus for Fall Hazards module. If you fail the attempt, review any topics you may miss past next time. Click start, blah, 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 blah. Let's take the damn exam. Fuck it. Let's go. You've covered an open hole in the section of the flooring. What type of hazard control is this? That's going to be a engineering. What y'all think? Engineering? I think that's gonna be an engineering. I guess I gotta pass this by myself. I don't know if I got any help in the chat. Alright, what's the suspension trauma? When someone is hanging from a PFAS, creating blood flow issues, I believe that's it. When a worker doesn't get information they need to on the job properly, no, that's not it. When a worker who's afraid of heights is required to work more than 10 feet off the ground, no. Any injury that results from a fall on a job site, no. Alright, there we go, there we go. Which one of these can replace a tow board? Guardrail, debris setting net, 2 lanyards, harnesses. A tow board is meant to prevent stuff from falling over the rail, so I'm gonna put a debris net. Hopefully that's right. I don't really know that answer. I'm taking an educated guess. Say you ain't no help with this? Iceberg gets the most help with this. Iceberg been helping me out. Okay, Iceberg said he's listening, not watching. Which of these can replace a tow board? And you got a guardrail, debris netting, 2 lanyards, and harnesses. So I know harness is not it. 2 lanyards is not going to be it. A guardrail would not replace a tow board, because a tow board is meant for stopping debris from, falling over the edge. So if you got a debris netting, you wouldn't really need a tow board, because you'll have a top rail and you'll have a middle rail, so you're not going to fall over the rail. But process of elimination, I think I'll try with that. And that's right. You need a tow board or debris netting to prevent objects from falling below. Working platform. If you have a tow board, you aren't required to have debris netting, and vice versa. You're working on top of a building that has 18-inch tall parapet. Is the parapet okay to use as a guardrail? Yes. No, you should also have a top rail. No, you should need a top rail and a mid rail. No, you should also need a top rail, a mid rail, and a tow board. So if you got an 18-inch tall parapet, is the parapet okay to use as a guardrail? I chose yes. No, I should have waited. No, you also need a top rail and a mid rail for a parapet. That's crazy. Oh, if it's shorter than 21 inches, okay. I thought they said 18 inches was safe. Cool. At what height do most legal falls occur? Below 15 foot. Let me wait on the audience. Damn, I got 40 questions? I thought they said I had 20 questions. And they said I had to get 14 out of 20. These motherfuckers got me with a whole 40 questions. I feel like I'm under pressure right now. You accidentally kick a couple of hand tools off of your work area. They fall onto the safety net below. How soon should you get them? Immediately. Now, see, this is going to be a trick question because they do give you an answer before the next shift. But I want to get my shit immediately. And anybody should be getting immediately. But I don't know if they're going to have some bullshit. Man, that's bullshit, man. Why wouldn't I want to get my shit immediately? If something falls into the safety net, needs to be getting before the next shift. That's bullshit, man. Nah, bro, that's a trick question. I want to get my shit immediately. And that's the same thing as before the next shift. Shit. But which of these need to be checked with drop tests? Safety net. You're calculating how much height a PFAS needs to stop a worker's fall. What factor do you need to consider in addition to lanyard length, declaration distance, and the safety margin? The worker's height, the worker's weight, the speed of the fall. You're calculating how much height a PFAS needs to stop a worker's fall. So how much height a harness needs to stop a fall? What factor do you need to consider in addition to the length of the lanyard and the distance and its safety margin? Probably the worker's weight. Now I'm gonna wait on a backup answer for this. What it's pretty much asking if you're calculating how much height pretty much a harness. If you're calculating how much height a PFAS needs to stop a worker's fall, what factor do you need to consider additional to the lanyard's length, declaration distance, and the safety margin? I'm gonna say the weight because your weight is gonna determine worker's height. I feel you, Lonnie. You say the worker's height? Okay. Calculating how much height APS needs to stop the worker. It's a trick question, I feel like. Well, fuck it, let's go. They got the weather condition. Appreciate that, Iceberg. That you was right. You need to take into account the lanyard length, deceleration distance, a safety margin, and the worker's height in setting up PFAS. PFAS. I don't know why I said PFA. Anyway, good shit, Iceberg. Appreciate it. When the employer covers a floor hole, what requirements must they follow? What requirements must they follow? Nothing. It's up to them how to build, use floor hole covers. Nothing. It's up to them how to build and use floor covers. No, that's not it. Make sure the cover can support the workers, their tools, and 100 extra pounds. No, that's not it. Make sure the cover can support double the estimated weight of the workers and the tools. I believe that is it. Put a warning sign around the cover to prevent accidents. I've seen people do that, but I think the technical answer is going to be put, make sure the cover can support double the weight. Because it says the employer covers the hole. So, yeah. There's not going to be an answer where they're not covering the hole. So, I think C is going to be the best answer. Okay, OSHA requires employees to determine how many workers could stand on the cover at once, add up the weight of those workers, their tools, anything that might be carrying, and make sure the cover can support double that weight. You're erecting a scaffold. What fall protection does your employer need to provide? If you're erecting a scaffold, they need to provide definitely PFAS, definitely guardrails, oh shit, they only let you pick one. Okay, so I'm gonna go with PFAS. This could be another tricky one because, you know, I know that they gotta provide you with a harness if you're erecting a scaffold, but also guardrails. But guardrails gonna come with the scaffold though, so I'm thinking it's gonna be a harness. Salute, Monimo. What about this one, Iceberg? If I'm putting together a scaffold, what fall protection would the employer definitely have to give me? Okay, I can't put guardrails. Wouldn't be fall protection, so it would have to be PFAS. Because the safety netting, it wouldn't do no good until I'm at least 15 feet. If I'm only 15 feet in the air, well, I got to put on my harness once I get at least 15 feet in the air. But I don't have to put up a safety netting if I'm only going 30 feet in the air or 40 feet. And of course, they do give you a hard hat, but it ain't for that. Alright, I'm going to go with the harness. Alright, yeah, that's good. What needs to happen to make scaffolding safe for workers? There must be a stairway or a ladder to access the scaffold. The employer must provide safety netting. OSHA inspector needs to certify the scaffold. The scaffold must be tested with a system of weights. Now that's a tricky one too. I think there must be a stairway or a ladder to access the scaffold. I know, yeah, I think that might be the answer for this one. Because they don't want you climbing up the crossbars, you know. So if you only got one answer, because I don't never see no safety netting on no damn scaffold, so I haven't had to be on jobs where it really been no safety net like that on no scaffold. And I ain't never seen no OSHA inspector come and check no scaffold, not on the job site unless somebody complained. And I ain't never seen them bitches test some shits on no weights either, so I think this is gonna be A. Yeah, this a tricky one here. Alright, I'm gonna go with A and cross my fingers. Okay, got it. Always a stairway. That shit tricky up, man. They playing with a nigga right now, boy. While workers are dismantling a scaffold, what protection does your employee need to give them? Of course, we know it ain't hardware, it ain't safety footwear. Guardrail is either gonna be a guardrail or personal fall protections. You know, pretty much a harness. While workers are dismantling the scaffold. But what are you holding on to if you're dismantling the damn scaffold? I guess if you could find an anchor point, but shit. What are you scrapping off to? But what would be on the guardrail? What the guardrail would be on? That's another tricky question. But what you think, Bird? You think that's a fall protection? I know you at work, man. I don't want you to have to keep typing over here. I'm glad I got y'all help. Cause shit. They got my head spinning already. I've been on this shit for about an hour and a half. Going on an hour and a half. They got me about to ready to take a break. Shit. Yeah, I'm about to take a break after I finish this exam. Nobody should be goddamn doing. I don't know how we used to do this shit in school, man. Be just taking test after test after test, going to class after class for 8 fucking hours a day. Jeez Louise, now as an adult, you have to sit in front of a computer and do testing after testing and stuff like that. Jeez Louise. Oh, you off today? Great. You is helping, Helima. You got your energy here. That's great help. You're reminding people to hit the like button. You're here supporting. Everybody has their part in supporting and help, so you definitely are helping. I'm pretty sure something's gonna come up and you're gonna have the perfect answer for it. So I would think harness, but have the same question as you. Right. Because they already gave us an answer where it was the harness. So it's like, it don't feel right for this to be the same answer less than 5 questions ago. You get what I'm saying? We just made an answer where it was the same thing. PFAS. Now they're asking a similar question, but kind of switching up the wording. So it's like they want me to put guardrail because they put that in the wording earlier. I feel like this is a crazy trick question. Yeah, that's a crazy trick question because you're not expecting the answer, use the same answer twice. You're doing overhead bricklaying on the leading edge. Which of the following protections must your employer provide? Now, this one I would expect to be a hard hat. You're doing overhead bricklaying on the leading edge. Okay, so I don't do this type of work, so now I gotta envision I'm doing brickwork on the leading edge. Okay, so I gotta envision what a leading edge is on brickwork. Okay, so that means I would not have anything probably but fucking fall protection plan. That means I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do if I fall. They always talk about a plan. When they say fall protection plan, yeah, the plan is you get with somebody, and if you fall, we're just gonna plan your funeral. Cause bitch, it's over for you. Because when you're the leading edge, that means that's before they got anything that you can anchor off to. Somebody got to go fucking put that anchor up there. Yeah. Somebody got to put them anchors up there. Somebody got to get up there before the walls are up there and put some shit up there before, you know. Somebody got to go set it up for the safety net. Yeah, everybody else gonna be safe when the safety net up and the anchors up and all that shit. But the people that got to go put it up there, they're the leading edge. So they just got to have a plan, which is a life insurance plan, a health insurance plan, aka fall protection plan. So I think that's gonna be the answer to that. If I had to take an educated guess, because I don't think they were. I believe I did see them say something about the person with a leading edge. It's the fall protection plan, as they say, because I remember thinking in my head, nigga, that don't tell me what the fuck I supposed to do. That's telling me that you got some kind of, that sounds like some bullshit. Yeah, fall protection insurance. Salute, cool nigga. Yeah, this is fall protection insurance I think they talking about. But I don't know, boy, they getting tricky with this exam. That last exam was kind of easy, but shit, they getting tricky with this one. But they trying to get that check. They trying to get a nigga to buy this shit again. Oh, we got it. If conventional fall protection don't work. If conventional fall protection don't work, as is the case with certain types of leading edge work like overhead bricklaying, employers must develop a special fall protection plan. They may provide additional protections like PFAS and would be useful. Man, the only plan they got is your funeral. On a flat roof that's wider than 50 feet, what fall protection must employers combine with wearing lines? Safety monitoring system, controlled access zone, scaffolding, PFAS. Damn. On a flat roof that's wider than 50 feet. Flat roof, wider than 50 feet. So, if you anchor down, what fall protection must employee combine with wearing lines? Control access zone. Shit. Yeah, Unity was here last night. When we did this last night, he was here. He was here the whole live. Damn, I really need help with this question here, y'all. Oh, I said wiring lines. That should say warning lines. I think I'm gonna go because safety. I would think that it'll just be a harness, man. Control access zone. Thinking control access zone. Yeah, because they did say they have like a competent person that, you know, pretty much tell anybody that watch for anybody that gets close to the shit, the warning and stuff like that. I don't know. So that might be the safety monitoring system. Because I remember it said they have their employers are responsible for having someone, a competent person to monitor, you know, anybody close to the edge or whatever on a flat roof that's wider than 50 feet. What fall protection must employers combine with warning lines? Control access zone. Hey man, I'm gonna take a risk. Not quite. So it was safety monitoring system. When you're working on a roof that's flat or almost flat, your employer can choose one or more of the following safety measure: guardrails, safety nets, PFAS, warning lines, and safety monitoring. The employer must use warning lines and safety monitoring together unless the roof is less than 50 feet. In that case, you can use a safety monitoring system. Okay. How much force does OSHA require a top rail to be able to withstand? Damn, I don't remember this answer. I might have to cheat on this and go to Google. Shit. Let me see if I can ask Google and they can tell me this one. I can't afford to miss no more. Anybody know this answer before I ask Google? How much force does OSHA require a top rail? I would think it would say like way more than 250 pounds. I think it is 200. I'm gonna put the most, but I would think it would be more than that shit. The top rail to withstand 250 pounds. That's it. Yeah, I missed it. It looked like they asked me some shit they didn't train me on. These motherfuckers slick as hell. They ain't said shit about no motherfucking force on no damn top rail. Shit, it ain't no 300 pounds. It go up to 200, 250. What's good in your comment with the truth? All they go up to is 250. Boy, these motherfuckers trying to trick me. Look at that shit, man. 200 pounds. That's bullshit. Yeah, I'm about to fail this shit. How far apart can the posts be on the guardrails be? See, this bullshit, y'all. Cause they said 6 feet. They said 6 feet unless it's metal, and then it could be 8 feet. How far apart can the posts on a guardrail be? I know damn well they said 6 feet if it's wood, 8 feet if it's metal. But they don't have 6 feet. They got 5 feet, they got 8 feet, 11 feet. So now I'm confused. And I'm nervous. That's bullshit. Yeah, I went with that 250 and that's bullshit. They over here playing with me. Now, if I put 5 feet, but they talking about metal posts and it end up being 8 feet, it's gonna be some bullshit. But if I put 8 feet, they might have 5 feet because they talking about wood posts. Damn. Yeah, I'm Googling this one. How far apart can a post be on a guardrail? How far apart can a post be on a guardrail according to OSHA? According to OSHA, guardrail posts should be no more than 8 feet apart regardless of the material used. In addition to spacing, OSHA also has other requirements for guardrail, including, so that's what we're going with, 8 feet. Y'all ain't about to trick me. Yeah, we cheating. Fuck y'all. When can a parapet be used as a guardrail? Parapets can never be used as guardrails. When a parapet is about 42 inches high, when a mid-rail isn't required, when there's already a mid-rail in place. What? When can a parapet be used as a guardrail? When can a parapet be used as a guardrail? If it meets the same height requirement as guardrails, which is 42 inches. If a safety net is more than 10 feet below the workspace, how far does it have to extend past the size of the workspace? 13 feet. I know this without cheating. If you're wearing a PFAS correctly, what should the D ring be? Across your chest, above your head, between your shoulder blades, at your waist. Should be between your shoulder blades. Who must inspect a PFAS and how often? You should inspect your own equipment daily before use. Your supervisor should inspect your equipment daily before you use it. The safety coordinator should inspect PFAS every 3 to 4 months. The manufacturer must inspect the FAS annually. This is bullshit. You should inspect your equipment daily. But I don't know if they're going to have some kind of trick answer with this shit. Your supervisor should inspect your equipment or some bullshit like that. That's crazy if they do, but hopefully not. Let's try it. Okay, we good. Hey man, they said I was only supposed to get 16 out of 20. That's crazy how they done put 40 questions on this shit. And I was supposed to only be answering 16 out of 20. But safety net should never be more than how many feet below the worker's surface. I want to say that's 30. I think we got asked that question before, and I think I said 20 last time. So I usually learn from answering the question wrong the first time. So your crew has been working on a high-rise building and installed a safety net 8 months ago. There haven't been any issues with it. What do you need to do? You need to check that motherfucker, do a drop test. Leave it, but monitor it for any issues. Do a drop test. Take it down for a complete inspection. Replace it. Damn, that's a trick question, because that shit need to be inspected after 6 months. So what should you do? Do a drop test? If you didn't do the fucking drop test after 6 months, Most of the time, people gonna just say, hell, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it, but monitor it for issues. I don't know if you saying A for this question, or maybe I don't know if the chat behind. Let me double check. Should I leave it but monitor it for issues? No. Hold up. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all look at this question real quick. Let me go get me another cup of coffee real quick. This question is saying, a crew has been working on a high-rise building and installed a safety net 8 months ago. There hasn't been any issues with it. What do you need to do? Now, the rules are after every 6 months you're supposed to inspect it. So if they didn't inspect it after 6 months and they didn't do a drop test on it after 6 months, I would think that, eventually you need to at least do a drop test. But at the same time, you can monitor it for any issues or take it down for a complete inspection. Or just replace it, because it should have been replaced at 6 months any damn way. Inspect it. But you have to take it down. Take it down for a complete inspection. Nah, it was do a drop test. Yesterday, strong winds at your work site blew some hand tools into a safety net. The tools have been retrieved safely. What else do you need to do? Nothing. The net worked perfectly. Do a drop test on the net. Have a competent person inspect the net. Replace the safety net. Shit. That's damn. Either have a competent person inspect the net or do a drop test. Shit. Damn. These motherfuckers, they got some trick ass questions. How often do most manufacturers recommend you should replace? Well, I do know that every 5 years. Whenever you see any damage, every 5 years. How tall should a toe board be? Less than 3.5 inches tall. At least 3.5 inches tall. Depends on the kind of work being done. Depends on the height of the platform. Let's go with at least. How much force should a mid-rail be able to handle? Damn, now this tricky. It said the top rail should be able to handle 200 pounds. So how many pounds should the mid rail be able to handle? Damn, this some tricky ass shit. Cause last time we thought it was 250. Now it might be 250 this time, and it was 200 last time. Let me get my damn coffee for this one. Y'all hold up. right, y'all. My fault. All right, we back with it. What you said, 150 pounds for mid-rail? Yeah, these rail questions are tricky. I'm about to go back to cheating in Google and shit. All right. I think you must have done looked on Google, so I'm going to trust you, the 150. How much space should be between wooden posts on the guardrail? See, now this the bullshit. This the tricky shit. I know this is 6, but see, it said at least 8 on any kind of, regardless of the material you use. When I just checked the last time. This is crazy. How do you know when the leg straps on the harness are properly tightened? You should be able to fit your hand between it. You should be able to fit your closest fist under the strap. You should be able to lift your legs past the sitting position. You should be able to fit your fingers under the strap. Look at that, y'all. They're trying to give you 2 similar answers. You should be able to fit your fist, or you should be able to put your fingers under it. You should be able to squeeze anything between you and the strap. Which of the following is a common reason PFAS fail? The materials degrade quickly, workers gain or lose weight and don't get a new harness, employers buy the wrong kind of PFAS for the job, workers don't connect an anchorage point. It's going to be workers don't connect the anchorage point, in my opinion. Which of the following is the common reason PFAS fails? Would that be a reason that it failed, or would that be just negligent on the person? See, that's the tricky part of this question. What would be the reason that the equipment would fail? Of course it would fail if you don't use it right, but if you use it right, it will work properly unless it has some kind of defect. So employers buy the wrong kind of PFAS for the job. That could be, I don't know if that would be the common reason though. Workers gain and lose weight and don't get new harnesses. Now that can be common, very common. But we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that in the study of this shit. They ain't said shit about motherfuckers losing and gaining weight so they don't get new harnesses. Now they did say, you need to get your shit. The materials do degrade quickly within 5 years, so this shit could be multiple answers. This shit could be multiple answers. This shit crazy. What is the most common reason PFAS fails according to OSHA? The main reason personal fall protection fails because workers don't connect the anchorage points. Okay, cool. Hell yeah, I'm Googling that shit. Look at that, y'all. I was just about to get this shit wrong by putting the material degrade quickly, and I already had the right answer marked, but just because this shit confusing me with these fucking words and playing around and shit. Right. Workers, cause yeah, I only got 10 more questions, man. And out of 40, I think I done got about 5 wrong, so that shouldn't be too bad. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to get 10 wrong out of 40 and still, still have a 75. I think I just got to get 70%. So I don't think I missed 10 though. I think I'd have missed like 4 or 5. Workers are on a 12-foot high scaffold and they aren't wearing PFAS. What does the scaffold need? If they're not wearing a harness and they're on a 12-foot scaffold, which is not that high, guardrails. They don't need no parapet. 12 feet high, that ain't that high on no scaffold. I mean, you don't want to fall off that motherfucker. Yeah, it might hurt, but if you ain't landing on concrete, you ain't gonna die. And it's saying they ain't wearing they ain't wearing a harness. What does the scaffold need? They don't need no safety netting because they're not that high. They need a safety net. Yeah, I'm gonna go with guardrails. All right, 9 more questions. You're doing leading edge work, which means you're going up there risking your damn life, and need a controlled access zone. What needs to happen to set it up safely? It must be at least 15 feet from the edge. It must be designed by a registered engineer. It needs to include safety netting. It needs to be marked with rope. Probably most likely it need to be marked with rope. Because you need a controlled access zone. Controlled access zone. So you need to get there, but you need it to be controlled. You don't need too many people in the way, all that bullshit. Damn. It must be at least 15 feet from the edge. Here, let me Google that shit. You're doing the leading edge work, need to be controlled. How do I ask this question to Google though? You're doing leading edge work, you need control access on. Damn, I don't even know how to ask this question to Google, to get it from Google. Rope. Nope, that wasn't it. It need to be 15 feet from the edge. That I was thinking rope too. I was thinking it was either the rope or the 15 inches from the edge. Those are the only two that made sense, but hell, the rope is a good educated guess. What is involved in safety monitoring? An array of cameras is installed to record any dangerous behavior on site. Each worker is assigned a spot another worker using the buddy system. The supervisor oversees installation and use of safety measures like netting. A competent person warns workers who are at risk of falling. Alright, I think I at least know that one. Yep, that's right. Alright, you need to set up a warning line as your team does roof work. Which of the following statement is true? You need to use 12 gauge or a sturdier steel cable for your line. So you need to set up a warning line that your team does roof work. Which of the following statement is true? You need to use 12 gauge or sturdier cable for your line. Lines must be marked with highly visible material every 6 feet. You must set up sections no more than 12 feet apart. The line sections have to support at least 8 pounds of force without tipping. That's tricky, y'all. Usually, if I'm marking off a warning area, I'm usually gonna take highly visible tape and mark off that area. You need to set up a warning line as your team does roof work. Okay, cause I don't know how the roofers work though when they do that shit. Let me think of what I've seen in the past. Okay, They're asking me shit about what roofers do. You need to set up a warning line as your team does roof work. Which of the following statements is true? You need to use 12 gauge sturdier cable for your line. I've seen people have sturdy cable up there, but I don't know if it was the roofers that had it up there like that. Lines must be marked with highly visible material at least every 6 feet. So that means that it would have like a gauge, the 12 gauge cable around, and then they would have like flags every 6 feet. Now I've seen that before. You must set up the sections no more than 12 feet apart. I've seen times where people will have like the cones, and they'll have them 12 to 6 feet apart. They kind of, let you know what part of the, how far you should not go to the edge. It'll be like 15 feet off of the edge, and they'll have cones in the rope to let you know not to go past that part. So this one tricky. Man. Damn, y'all, we getting close to the fucking around and not get out 70%. 40 damn questions. I don't want to take no 40 damn question test over. They didn't give us the answer to these questions. I was paying attention. They ain't fucking gave us. We ain't been studying these questions in the damn in the study part. Yes. Whoo. Got it, y'all. Highly visible material every 6 feet. I had to think about what I see on the job site, but I thought they were trying to give me a trick question. Which of the following does a scaffold need in order to be considered safe? It needs to be sturdy frame for workers to climb safely up and down. It can't be taller than 10 feet. It needs to be fully planked. It must be wide enough to accommodate a ladder. Accommodate a ladder. That's crazy. It needs to be sturdy frame for workers to climb safely up and down. I would think that would be it. Which of the following does a scaffold need in order to be considered safe? It needs to be fully planked. Fully planked. I'm gonna see if Google could tell me. What does a scaffold need to be considered safe? Both must be protected to each employee more than 10 feet above the lower level. You right, Iceberg. Yep. That's where they put the trick in there, because they telling you that your ass gonna be climbing up and down the frame, and you ain't supposed to be climbing up and down no frame. So yeah, you got a great point there. You got a great point there. You see a damaged guardrail, what should you do? Stay in the area to keep others away from it. Avoid the guardrail while you're working. Leave the hazardous areas. Report it to your local OSHA office. Man. These are some fucked up answers to this question here. Stay in the area to keep others away from it. Avoid the guardrails while you're working. Leave the hazard area. Jeez Louise, these some tricky ones, man. Damn, all I got is 5 left. Y'all ain't gonna let me out of here with some real easy ones. Shit. I mean, you want to stay in the area to keep people away from it, but how long do you do that? Okay, avoid the guardrail. That's probably what I would do. Like, okay, I ain't fucking with that over there. But that probably ain't what they want. Leave the area, but still somebody else can come over there and fall off it. So, and then I don't think you're supposed to report that shit that fast. I think you're supposed to try to fix it or tell a supervisor or something. But I would think they would have on there tell a supervisor or something. But damn, they put me in a weird, awkward position. Alright, we're gonna try to keep people away from it, see what they say. Oh, good shit, good shit. You have just covered a 3-foot hole, 3-foot wide hole with a piece of plywood. What else should you do? Stay and guard the area so you can warn co-workers. Secure the hole so it doesn't slide when it's in use. Nothing as long as the plywood can hold the person's weight. Make sure everyone working near the hole has a PFAS. AS. It's either gonna be between B and C. I'm gonna have to take another educated guess at this. Good. They say you study long, you study wrong. So 3 more, y'all. 3 more. Which of these hazard control methods won't work on fall hazards? It's either gonna be substitution or elimination. It's either gonna be substitution or elimination. Because of course you need the engineer control to, you know, make sure that you don't have a fall hazard. Administrative control would give you the training about it, I guess. Well, no, administrative control wouldn't serve a purpose to fall protection, would it? Elimination. Well, yeah, administrative control would help out because then that would be the lead edge worker providing the training. Yeah, fuck it, let's try it. Substitution. What kind of control is a guardrail? Alright. 2 more questions. Where is the ideal place to install safety net? 10 feet off the ground, 10 feet below the working surface, 30 feet under the working surface, directly under the working surface. Damn, was it 10 feet or 30 feet? I think it was 30 feet. I think it was 30 feet. Sometimes it'll be 10, but you know, they prefer it to be 30 feet. Right, Iceberg, man, shit, I'm just as, man, they fucking me up. I'm hoping I still, you know, can get a 70 on this test. I don't know if I got 10 of them wrong or not. Where's the ideal place to install safety nets? I think it's 30 feet under the working surface. Or was it 10 feet? Was it 10? $30 feet was the max, but it was 10 feet was the minimum, right? So you got 10 feet below or 30 feet below? What? Directly under the working surface? Man, they be with these trick ass questions. How often do you need to drop test safety nets if there are no visible issues? Every 6 months. Alright, let's see how we did, y'all. Let's see what the damage is. They said I was supposed to only... Oh, I barely passed, y'all. I barely passed. Whew. Y'all. One more wrong answer, boy. It was over for the kid. Hey, those were some fucked up ass questions, boy. Damn, boy. We barely skated on that one, boy. I'm talking about by the hair of my chin, 78%. It was only supposed to be 20 questions. It said 16 out of it said 16 out of I was supposed to get 14 out of 20. Out of those first 20, I had got 14. I think I had only got like 4 wrong. So if that would have been the case, I was good to go. But when they got damn pushed on another 20, like, damn, motherfucker, I can't concentrate on 40 damn questions. Sheesh. I ain't gonna lie, but I was nervous about that. One or two more, I think it was over with. I think they probably counted for like 4 points apiece. All right, so we can move on to the next. I gotta take a break. So next one we got OSHA Focus 4 hazards. Electrocution. Should I come back for this, or should I just go ahead and go about my business by myself? I don't know if y'all getting bored. Are y'all getting bored with OSHA shit? I'll go ahead and finish doing my testing by myself if y'all tired of this shit. If y'all want me to just come back when I'm ready to talk shit, I'll come back when I'm ready to talk shit. But I gotta finish this shit regardless. I gotta take a break. That shit just made me want to chill for a second. Cross my eyes for a second. But we got electrocution coming up next. Everybody want to know about electrocution? Which I don't think that wasn't nowhere near as long as the first couple. So these seem to be a little faster. These jokers getting harder and harder. I see that. But I'll come back, check with y'all. I'll do one more, and we'll see how it work out. And we'll see how it work out. All right, I'll come back for the electrocution. I'm gonna come back in about an hour and a half. Let me take a little break, eat some breakfast, get my brain back fresh, and I'll check with y'all later. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out.